In this video, we will learn how to connect to an Oracle database based on Linux from Windows. So let's start. My computer has Windows operating system. I set up a virtual machine with a Linux operating system using the Oracle VirtualBox program. Oracle database is installed on this machine. First, I will start the database on the virtual machine. I connect to the database using SQL+. I'm starting the database. We need to define some files to make a remote connection to the database. The names of these files are listener, sqlnet, and tnsnames. Listener is a service we need to make a remote connection to the database. It must be defined on the machine where the database is installed. You can find a lot of information about the listener from the video I added to the video card. The methods by which we can connect to the database are specified in the sqlnet file. These methods can be easy connect naming or tnsnames. The sqlnet file is defined to the machine to which the connection will be established. In this video, we will connect to the Oracle database in Linux from Windows. Therefore, we will define sqlnet in the Windows environment. Finally, the tnsnames file is the alias file. We record the IP address, port, database service name in the tnsnames file with an alias. Then, we connect to the database using this alias. In this file, the machine to which the connection will be made must be defined. So we will define it in Windows. Now let's start all the process. Under Oracle Home, I go to Network and then Admin File. As you can see, there are only 4 nets. First, I will define the listener file. We can define all the necessary files with the Network Manager program. I will define a listener. I am determining a name for the listener. I need the hostname of the virtual machine. In this way, you can access the hostname information. I will use port 1522 instead of 1521. There is no difference. Afterwards, I will define which database the listener will work for. I need global database name and service ID. You can access global database name information with this query. You can access service ID information with this query. After entering the values, save and close the program. Let's look at the files in the admin file again. As you can see, the listener file has been added. Let's look at the definitions in the file. Thanks to these definitions, the database now has a listener. But the listener needs to be started. You can start with this command. Listener started. Now let's try to establish a connection using SQL Developer. Enter the username and password you created when setting up the database. You need the hostname information of the virtual machine. You can look at the IP address with this command. You can find the port information from the listener. You can find out the service ID with this command. Try to establish a connection by clicking the test button. System user can connect via sysadmin or sysopper. Change the role. The connection has been established successfully. You can test the connection by running a few queries. There are many ways to connect to the database. Apart from SQL Developer, you can also connect to the database using the Easy Connect naming and tnsnames methods. Now let's learn these ways. First, we need to make some definitions in the Windows environment. Oracle database must be installed in the Windows environment. Go to this file where the database is installed. We need to make some definitions in this file. I will use the Netka program. Click the Naming Method radio button. Select Easy Connect naming option. As you can see, a file has been created. Thanks to this definition, we will be able to connect to a database in the virtual machine with the Easy Naming method. I will establish a connection with the SQL Plus program. Enter user ID, password, virtual machine's IP address, port, and database name. We connected to the database on the virtual machine with the Easy Naming method. You can run several SQL and test it. Now let's connect with a different method. The name of the new method is tnsnames connection. Briefly, in this method, we save the IP, port, database name in a file with an alias. We connect to the database with a pseudonym. You will understand better what I mean in a moment. In order to use this method, we must make a definition using the Netka program. Click the local net service radio button. Enter the name of the database service. Enter the IP address and port information of the virtual machine. Enter nickname. As you can see, the tnsnames file has been created. Nothing has changed in the sqlnet text file. The tnsnames file contains information such as IP, port, database service name. This information was assigned to the pseudonym Oracle. We will connect to the database using this alias. First, we need to make a change in the sqlnet text file. Otherwise, we cannot use the nickname found in tnsnames. I will make this definition with Netka. Click the Naming Method button. Also add the local naming option. As you can see, tnsnames keyword has been added to the sqlnet text file. Now let's connect to the database with the tnsnames method. You can use this syntax. Note that the nickname is registered in the tnsnames text file. You can test the connection by running SQL. Finally, let's connect to the database using tnsnames from SQL Developer. Select username, password, and role. Select TNS from the Connection Type section. Select Oracle from the Network Alias section. Note that this alias is in the tnsnames text file. You can test the connection by running SQL. I recommend you to watch the next Oracle database lessons by following the playlist. To support us, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the video.